All right, guys, we're on Beowulf 29. And seeing their ancestral armor and weapons, Ingold and his followers will be angry. So Beowulf continues from number 28, and he's still speaking. And seeing their ancestral armor and weapons, Ingold and his followers will be angry, and one of his soldiers sitting with ale in his cup and bitterness heavy in his heart will remember war and death, and while he sits and drinks, his sharp old tongue will begin to tempt some younger warrior, pushing and probing for a new war. That sword, that precious old blade over there, I think you know it, friend. Your father carried it, fought with it the last time he could swing a sword. The Danes killed him and many more of our men and stripped the dead bodies, the brave, bold Danes. One of the princess's people here now might be the murderer's son, boasting about his treasures, his ancient armor, which ought to be yours by right. So he's saying the enemy, the other side's going to entice one of their young soldiers to remember what the other side did. Bitter words will work in a hot-tempered brain, pushing up thoughts of the past. And then when he can, calling his father's name, the youngster will kill some innocent Dane, a servant, and bloody sword in hand will run from the hall, knowing his way through the woods. But war will begin as he runs to the sound of broken oaths, and its heat will dry up Ingeld's heart, leave him indifferent to his Danish bride. Hrothgar may think the Hasselbards love him, love Freya, but the friendship can't last, the vows are worthless. But anyway, but of Grendel, you need to know more to know everything. I ought to go on. It was early in the evening, heaven's jewel had slid to its rest, and the jealous monster planning murder came seeking us out, stalking us as we guarded Hrothgar's hall. Hans Shu, sleeping in his armor, was the first gate he reached. Grendel seized him, tore him apart, swallowed him down, feet and all, as fate had decreed. A glorious young soldier killed in his prime. Yet Grendel had only begun his bloody work, meant to leave us with his belly and his pouch both full. And Herat half empty, then he tested his strength against mine. Hand to hand, his pouch hung at his side. A huge bag sewn from a dragon's skin, worked with the devil's skill that was closed by a marvelous clasp. The monster intended to take me, put me inside, save me for another meal. He was bold and strong, but once I stood on my feet, his strength was useless, and it failed him. So he went from continuing his story from the prior one, then he just jumped into like, oh yeah, I remember what you asked me about how the battle went if I defeated Grendel.